This Friday, the Forest Park Trojans and Ishpeming Hematite football team will go head-to-head in our MyUP Game of the Week. Before the game, both programs will honor their 1975 state championship teams, adding an extra layer of excitement to the night. I had the opportunity to catch up with members of the Trojans as they celebrate the 50th anniversary of their remarkable championship run, reflecting on that unforgettable season. In 1975, Michigan high school football transitioned to a new playoff format, guided by the Michigan High School Athletic Association.
Prior to that, it was a paper champion based on the Detroit Free Press, I believe, or else maybe it was the News, one of the two. But they always crowned a mythical champion. And all of us guys, we were just so excited to have that opportunity to possibly qualify to play and show what we were made of.
The tournament brought together 16 qualified teams across 4 divisions, with 4 teams from each division competing in the playoffs for the title of state champion. Among them was the Crystal Falls Forest Park Trojans, a team with dreams of winning it all.
They just had a great nucleus of people. They had underclassmen, but they had upperclassmen that carried the way, and they just had a good mix of athletes. As an 8th grader, of course, they were giants to me, and of course they were your heroes.
A real good mix of just some strong kids, physically and mentally. We had some speed, we had some intelligence, and we were all close.
Guiding the Trojans were head coach Dick Metlack and assistant coach Rudy Valiceno, 2 legendary names within the Crystal Falls community, both of whom demanded nothing less than excellence from their players.
They were disciplinarians. They didn't mince any words. When you did something wrong, you knew it. When you did something right, you didn't find out about it, but they were pleased, and they didn't tell you that, but they showed it. We just fed off of those guys. They prepared us week after week, game after game, and taught us what we had to do to win.
With strong leadership both on the field and on the sidelines, the Trojans were poised to begin their state championship journey. But just before the 1975 season kicked off, tragedy struck when one of their leaders, Jim Fabry, was seriously injured in a car accident. We
started off our season a little bit rocky with losing one of our main players to a car accident that year. He got paralyzed, got quadriplegic right in the middle of August. And the coaches were scrambling a little bit at the start of the season for the first few games to replace him on the offensive and defensive lines.
He was probably one of the best players, that came from this area. Yeah, kind of just wrecked, not wrecked everything, but changed everything totally.
The early adversity galvanized the Trojans, intensifying their sense of urgency and further fueling their motivation.
Everybody got together. We went to the root beer stand down here and May Sant and met, dressed up like waitresses, and went and did a little charity event for them, and so it kind of pulls everybody together, and after that everybody pulled and wanted to win.
And as season went on, more and more talk amongst the players were, let's win this one not only for our school, but let's win it for our buddy who couldn't put a uniform on that year.
The Trojans battled through the regular season, securing their spot in the postseason. They then elevated their game to another level, facing a win-or-go-home scenario.
We played Posen in the semifinal round, and that was in Traverse City. And then we advanced down to Waldo Stadium at Kalamazoo and played Flint Holy Rosary. And we showed up to play in both of those games, shutting out our opponents in both the semis and the finals.
The biggest part was getting the opportunity to go play on AstroTurf. If you check out this field here and you see the length of the grass, nobody's fast on grass. We're just way faster on the turf, and that was the biggest part, that I look back to where it's like, oh great, we're gonna go play on turf. These guys ain't got a chance.
Forest Park dominated Posen with a jaw-dropping 67-0 victory. They then shut out Holy Rosary 50-0 to claim the 1975 MHSAA Class D state championship, capping off a historic perfect season and adding the first football trophy to the school's now proudly filled trophy case.
It's something I don't think any of us will ever forget. Being that it was the first one was the most important thing. Nobody will take away from that moment that we as a team bonded together and won the state championship quite handily, by the way.
Forest Park wasn't the only school showcasing the strength of UP football. The Ishpeming Hematites capped off a historic season of their own, defeating Hudson to win the Class C state championship, snapping a record win streak in what many called a monumental upset.
In my opinion, two very storied football programs at the high school level in the Upper Peninsula. Them winning it in '75 against Hudson, that was the talk of the whole state when they upset Hudson, as they called it. I don't think anybody in the UP really considered it an upset. They had a 72-game winning streak going. So at that point, Forest Park, we did our part, Ishpeming did their part to dethrone, a national champ, basically.
This Friday, on the 50th anniversary of their 1975 state championship seasons, the Trojans and Hematites will meet for just the second time in program history. Before the game, both championship teams will be honored, and a new traveling trophy will be introduced, signaling the beginning of a new era and perhaps a budding rivalry in the 8-player football league.
Yeah, it's the start of a new rivalry. They got the traveling trophy. They're going to start the history. The Hematites with their 5 state championships, I believe they have, and now Forest Park with our 5 state championships. It's pretty cool for the UP, especially 2 smaller schools, to have all this tradition, all this history. So just to start that rivalry, I'm looking forward to that. We have our games against Powers, we have our games against North Dickinson, Norway. So it'll be cool to start a new rivalry, and something these kids can do to write their name in the history book is, start this rivalry, start this traveling trophy, and have their memories they can make.
The MyUP Game of the Week between Forest Park and Ishpeming is set to kick off Friday night in Crystal Falls at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central.